The Bible is for me.
This hand's coming off an injury, too. That's what's crazy.
What'd you do?
I was holding we were working in the back, and they were like, here, I'm trying to get this beam down. Can you hold it? Because I'm working down here, and it's going to come loose, and I want it to just crash to the ground. And I was like, yeah, let me just... And then it all fell on my reaching hands. Because I wasn't quite there yet.
Do you even lift, bro? Do you even lift?
I definitely don't think I broke my hand, but these fingers were all off, and now it's just kind of... The pain area is like much smaller than when we started.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on the mend.
Thank God.
But it was not good. I'm a fragile being now. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I've been ready. I thought we were doing it.
Are we mid podcast right now?
I think so. Do you ever? I don't know if you do this. We talk on the phone. We call each other. Probably more than most dudes our age.
You and me
would do. Yeah. You and I. We don't do it as much now that we live in the same city.
That's true.
But we used to a lot. But when I do call you, I have to admit I do a thing where if you don't answer, but I kind of can tell you're not going to answer, I hang up before the voicemail.
Okay.
But I don't do it because I just don't want to get to the voicemail. It's that I want to remain in control over the conversation. I'm in charge, and
Okay.
I hang up before you have a chance to not answer.
Oh. So in your mind, maybe I was like just about to pick up, but then you hung up on me.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not you ignoring me or you having something else to do where you're too busy.
Yeah.
Like you have important things to do. Because obviously nothing would be more important than answering the phone when I call.
Of course.
So what I do is I power move it.
It's a power move.
And I go, I'm going to hang up before it even gets to that point. Because I decided I didn't want to have this conversation anymore.
Yeah. I think that when, my last power move I did was leaving a venue for an event. This has been a later in life thing. Uh-huh. Maybe a hack. If you want to take this, you can. I don't rush to my car anymore.
Oh.
So now my move is like in Tampa at Amalie, which is now Benchmark Capital Investment Wealth Management Arena or whatever it is now. And I don't even want to say that because I'm comparing the companies. It's really just the length of the name. If that same company had bought it, and I guess Benchmark is pretty short, fine. But the full name is more than
Benchmark International.
Yeah, it's too much.
No, we're talking about it too much.
We need a little
already.
Something.
Yeah.
The trop, something punchy. Anywho, when you're leaving there, there's actually an ice cream place you can walk to. So here's the power move is people will be like rushing past me. And I'm like...
Joke's on you.
Guess what? I'm not even going on my car. Because they're like, I'm going to get to my car first. And I'm like, I'm in control.
I didn't want to get home early anyway.
I'm not going home.
I wanted to get home after midnight.
I'm firing up my lactose intolerance. Joke's on you.
It's my little Lactaid.
And I look like harm and danger.
It would... It would be nice if Lactaid had sprinkles. Maybe that's a thing. Could we invent that? Like Lactaid sprinkles that you can just show up, put them on top of your ice cream. You eat those first, then you've got your lactose intolerance taken care of.
I hate even saying this because I can't remember the comedian that I saw the bit, but because this is not my original joke, and I want to be clear about that. This I saw a guy doing a bit on how Tums have gotten so good, and I'm like, thank you for saying that. He's like, Tums for me are a top 5 candy. It's his line. And I was like, I'm exactly with him. Like, yeah. So, yes, I'm here for this.
Lactaid sprinkles, sponsored by Lactaid.
I would be all like, you. The flip for me would be like breakneck. If I'm like, yeah, big pharma, stink, blah, blah, blah. But if this stuff starts like tasting good and opening up ice cream for me more, I'd be like, well, let's not rush to conclusions.
Big Pharma's like my big brother. Like you say Big Pharma and Big Brother, but I have a big brother and he's cool.
Old McDonald had a farm. We didn't talk about that. That's how quick I would turn. Welcome to the podcast. Sheet Day Devos, everybody. Welcome. Going through the book of Deuteronomy.
You said deuter.
Not Deuteronomy, you. Deuteronomy.
You.
Deuteronomy 12 through 19 today. A lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, we got a lot of chapters, folks.
Gotta get right to business.
It's a lot. We're doing the hard work, so you don't necessarily have to. If you want to read it,
yeah,
I mean, go do it. Do the thing. There's a lot. There's a lot.
We're going in there and tilling the land so that you can know the right spots to plant the seeds.
Yeah, because we're here at the Bible is Funny. We're not here to give you good information or like make life decisions.
That's right.
Nothing you hear here is something you should make a decision about, like a life decision.
That's right. Because we don't know what we're talking about.
No.
But I'm glad you mentioned that because it's important to say we don't know what we're talking about, and we're going to continue talking. And also, really quickly, there is still time to join the our partners at the Healing Collective. This is a really exciting partnership we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, and they have a course, a certification program on spiritual direction that starts when this podcast comes out in just a few days. Yep. So you can still sign up for that, the link in the show notes, and you could be someone who knows what they're talking about and have a much more productive for society podcast. And I love that journey for you. And I want to be clear that it is distinct from the journey that we are on currently.
Yeah. And even if you catch it late, maybe you don't make it in time for the spiritual direction program, the cohort that's going on. Lots of other cool stuff to learn about, to be engaged with. Their organization is all set up to provide resources for folks who have dealt with spiritual trauma in one way or another. And whether you're a pastor, you're like a lay person, doesn't matter. If this is something that interests you for your vocation, for just your personal life, if you want to be a better partner to the people around you, go ahead, check out the Healing Collective, and we'll have the link in the show notes and all that fun stuff. But check them out. They're doing cool stuff.
Cool things. Speaking of Deuteronomy 12, Tim, what do we need to know about Deuteronomy 12?
Deuteronomy 12, we're doing 12 through 19 today, so it's 8 chapters.
Buckle up.
There's a little bit more in Deuteronomy, these chapters. I like that it's not just repetitive. But this is Moses. We're in this stage of Moses telling all the rules and regulations. So he says, these are the rules and regulations that you must diligently observe for as long as you live in the country that God, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess. So Moses is giving this kind of a long speech about the promised land and what they need to do and how they need to prepare, because Moses is about to die. He knows he's going to go down. And trying to give the people some tips and tricks for life.
Yeah. Typical of people, in that third act, you just start spewing advice.
People love that.
They love to spew advice.
Moses seems like he's really taken that role and he's running with it.
I think biologically this is like an imperative, because as humans age, their hearing goes, but they're still able to talk.
Convenient.
You're going to be listening less and talking more the older you get.
So rules and regulations that you must diligently observe. Yeah. He says, ruthlessly demolish all the sacred shrines where the nations that you're driving out worship their gods. Wherever you find them, on hills or mountains or in groves or in green trees, tear apart their altars, smash their phallic pillars, burn their sex and religion, Asherah shrines, break up their carved gods, obliterate the names of those god sites. Stay clear of those places. Don't let what went on there contaminate the worship of God. And I thought, okay, so am I supposed to stay clear of the place, or am I supposed to smash all their stuff? Do I go?
It's a good question.
Like, don't talk. Don't you?
Yeah. Hey, I don't want you talking to them. Okay. So next time you see them, tell them that you don't want them around here anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But you said
get away from. Take your hands off.
But you said not to talk.
When they get close, you say, "Don't get your hand off me."
Okay. See
what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I thought that was a little bit confusing. That was verse 4. getting down verse 8 through 10, and I'm paraphrasing. I'm in the Message. I didn't clarify this before. A lot of people know this is the Message version of the Bible. It says, "Don't continue doing things the way you've done them at the present. Each of us is doing as we wish. Until now, you haven't arrived at the goal, the resting place, the inheritance that God, your God, is giving you. But the minute you cross the Jordan River and settle into the land of God, settle into the land God, your God, is enabling you to inherit, He'll give you the rest from all your surrounding enemies. You'll be able to settle down and live in safety." And I thought, yeah, your people are going to be just fine for the next couple of thousand years. You're going to be good. Don't worry. The future's bright.
Yeah. Everything's going to go great.
You guys are going to be real.
You're going to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a good time.
Don't you worry about a thing.
What bad could happen?
No, nothing.
Because you're there. This is my thoughts on 12. What did that take you through? What verse did that take you through?
That took me through 10.
Okay. So 10, it talks a lot about this sort of here, there, and everywhere-ness of like where they were doing sacrifices and sort of the religious ceremony that had been prescribed to them in all the books that we've covered. I thought this was kind of interesting. Like in verse 13, it said, "Be careful not to sacrifice your burnt offerings anywhere you please." And I thought a couple of things. One, my brain always goes practical. And I'm like, that kind of makes sense. You don't want like everything smelling like burnt animal hair and carcass. Like I would want that, in one specific spot. But I also thought in reflecting on this chapter, I wanted, and I posit this is a real theory that I have. This is the first example of people ruining the work from home environment. Because I feel like people were they were like, "No, I did it. I worked from home. Like I sacrificed at my house. That's where I did it. I probably did too many sacrifices at my house, potentially, but I did it at my house. Yeah, no, I really did. I did. That's why I don't have any here today, because I did it at my house." And it was like, you didn't do that. And maybe everyone would have been more cool with people doing this at their house and not having to like load the whole animals up and avoid eye contact, because like you have to kill this thing when you get to the place, and so you have to like do that whole walk. They would have been
eye contact with the animal.
Yeah, because you're like, I'm not going to talk to him while I take him, or her.
But you're normally going to talk to the animals?
Sure. Oh my gosh, all day. So I feel like this is the first case of people ruining work from home, because they were like, you know what, guys, we were going to let you do it at home, and you weren't doing it. Mm-hmm. But you said you were doing it, but you weren't doing it, and we knew you weren't doing it.
We could tell,
and everyone knew it. And I had this guy I used to work with. And I've always done the flex schedule. Been very lucky to be able to do that for a long time. And this guy was like joking about it one day. And I was already not having a great day, I should admit. But I was like, "Hey man, can you work when you're at home? Because you're gonna ruin this for us." And you're joking about how you never work from home. And that stinks, because one day when I'm told I can't work from home anymore, I'm gonna think about you. I'm gonna remember this. And then I was reading the Bible and I was like, you know what? I think that's what happened here. People kept saying they were doing sacrifices at home. They weren't doing sacrifices at home, Tim.
Mm-hmm. Verse 13 and 14 says, "Be extra careful. Don't offer your absolution offerings just any place that strikes your fancy." So I'm just reading the Bible here, folks.
Yeah, just do it anywhere.
Offer your absolution offerings only in the place that God chooses. And I thought, what a great way of putting that. I want to see them going like, oh, that pile of rocks, that looks great. It's got a cactus right in the middle. That's perfect. Like, I could so adorn that.
Right. Because you could see people like making a trip out of it. Mm-hmm. Like, why don't we go to the Grand Canyon and do the sacrifices this year?
Well, you can't just go. I mean, I guess. Okay. Yeah, don't do anywhere that just strikes your fancy.
Just do
okay.
Anywhere you
there are rules.
Do it. Can't be like, "Oh, that really good juice place is on 4th. So what if we do the sacrifice there and we can get the juice after?" Can't plan it with other things. That's the rule.
Yeah.
I had one a little later in 20. I don't know if that skips through anything important for you.
Well, I had verse 19. I liked. It said because we're giving rules for like how to live in this space and this new like promised land, and like what to do, where you sacrifice. Things are different now. The rules are a little different because you're in a more permanent place.
Right.
And up until now they've had rules for like how they treat the different tribes, and like the Levites are the clergy. They're the pastors, the priests, like those folks. It happens to be Moses and Aaron and them, like that lineage is all, they're all Levites. So they're all like the clergy folks. It says, make sure as long as you live, and make sure as long as you live on your land, you never neglect the Levite. And I love that. First of all, like the end note being like, oh yeah, by the way, don't forget about us, or about those folks. I happen to be in that group of people, but don't forget about them. And it reminded me that this is where the history of pastors like mooching off the congregation started.
Okay.
And they're going, don't forget, it's biblical now. Like who's going to help me move this pool table? Anybody? Don't forget about the Levites, huh? And then people have to go, dang it. Moses said it, so now I got to do it.
He said that as his last note.
Can you do get paid? Can you pay for somebody else to do it?
Yeah.
Like, we're not just going to give you free meals all the time. But I've grown up and I've been in enough churches. I've known enough pastors to know they be mooching. I'm calling you out. If you're that guy or gal, usually it's not the women, it's the guys.
Come over for prayers at like 4:30 and then you're like, oh, it smells really good. You guys doing dinner?
Oh, I
didn't have anywhere to be.
Oh, I mean, a sandwich would be nice. No sandwiches.
It's funny. I did think I had an alternative thought on that, however. Just of like, because Moses does the whole breakdown and the Levites get no inheritance. And the premise is that like God is their inheritance. That's what's said. Right. And I get what you're saying. I hear that. I also thought it is kind of funny that it's like, well, God is their inheritance. And that's great. That's a really good thing. But he's also like, don't forget about them. Because like they might not eat if you're not like if you're forgetting about them. You're like, oh, that's cool. God is their inheritance, but like also don't forget to bring them stuff because we didn't give them anything when we broke up the land. If you remember, they also don't really have to do any labor, like the hard labor. Yeah, for a while, like they're sacrificing some stuff. Right. They do have to do that stuff. But now that we've gone into the modern era, again, this was the start of that. Right. Totally. And I almost think maybe what I'm onto here is we got to go back to like sacrificing animals. Well, they were just like, hey guys, we got to get people excited about church like your life depends on it. Because you're not going to eat if they're not excited about coming here. Food doesn't come from anywhere else. Or maybe you find a side hustle. We got to get them fired up. Like, you really need them to be here. Like, really, really. I'm pretty sure that's how modern churches work anyway. If you've heard the altar, the that's true. I don't calls know. For tithing, they're pretty adamant about it. They're working more. Yeah. They're working more on like they got a couple big people bringing a lot of animals. And they're not as worried. Like, I need everybody going like, hey man, I need to really care for everyone in this community because everyone represents one of my meals for the week. Mm-hmm. And I need them to come in. Mm-hmm. And if they don't come in, I'm missing breakfast. I had in 20, this read funny to me. I'm curious how yours read on this one. But it says in verse 20, when the Lord your God has enlarged your territory as he promised you, and you crave meat and say, I would like some meat, then you may eat as much of it as you want. And that's what my NIV said in 20. And that just felt like, to me, the direct answer to a question that had come in, where somebody was like, so we can't sacrifice we can't kill any animals? So like my barbecue place is pointless now because you're telling me we can't just like kill animals wherever we want. That's what you're saying, Moses? That's what you said? Mm-hmm. And then he comes in with verse 20. And he's like, no. You're walking around, you think, I want some meat. Like, guess what? You can eat meat wherever you want. You can. That's like, it feels like a response to that type of question. Yeah. I don't know if you felt that way. I didn't. Because it was in such detail to say. Because my version says, you expand your territory. You say, I'm hungry for meat because you happen to be craving meat at the time. Go ahead and eat as much meat as you want. It's the same thing. Like, yeah, you want to eat. So you're walking around and it hits you. Oh, I want some meat right now. Like, why did we do a whole skit out of it? I wonder for that verse. Like, that verse could be summed up. Hey, if you can eat meat kind of wherever you want. But he does a whole routine, like, say you're walking around. Tuesday, let's say lunchtime. So here you are. I got a lot of emails out this morning. You were very. That was my thought on 20.
Good. It goes on to say right after that, it says, if you're too far away from the place that God, your God, has marked with his name, it's right to slaughter. It's all right to slaughter animals from your herds and flocks that God has given you, as I've commanded you. In your own towns, you may eat as much of it as you want. Just as the non-sacrificial animals like the gazelle and deer are eaten, you may eat them. The ritually unclean and clean may eat them at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like Moses at this time was just tired of policing all of the little issues. He's like, just eat.
Okay.
If you're hungry, eat the thing.
Thank you for saying
we already have
that.
some rules. Like, just go. Just eat. It doesn't matter.
Thank you for saying that, because I was also reading this going like, boy, I feel like you're...
All of a sudden,
if we took the time to denote them as unclean, and now all of a sudden we're kind of like, I don't know,
whatever.
just eat it.
Just eat it. It's like when my wife goes out of town and like we're really concerned about all the food that all the kids are eating, and I'm like, I got stuff to do. Just eat you didn't eat breakfast, eat the Doritos anyway. I don't care. Just I gotta go do a podcast. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's more important.
That's what you want.
Than our kids' nutrition.
They'll be fine for a day. That's what Moses is saying. I'm leaving. Like, I'm gonna die. Just eat whatever.
Let me just simplify.
Just
clean, unclean. Just over and over again. Don't eat the blood. Mm-hmm. Just leave the
just
blood
don't
alone.
Eat. Yeah, for whatever reason. When they go, verse 29 through 31, this is the last part of this chapter that I like. It says, when God, your God, cuts off the nations whose land you are invading, shoves them out of your way so that you displace them and settle in your land, be careful that you don't get curious about them after they've been destroyed. I can't read. Don't get fascinated with their gods, thinking, I wonder what it was like for them worshiping their gods. I'd like to try that myself. Don't do this to God, your God. They commit every imaginable abomination with their gods. God hates it all with a passion. Why, they even set their children on fire as offerings to their gods. And I thought, are we fact checking this at all? Are they really, do we really know? Or is Moses just saying it? Like, he's just, and kind of regurgitating a story maybe that he's heard before on a, particular news channel. Like, it just like, okay, boomer, Moses, like the Haitians aren't eating the cats in the neighborhood. Okay. You can't just say they're burning all their kids out. Like, that might not actually be happening. I just at least want to see the facts.
I do. And I think that is fair to be said there. What I want to, and I don't know how much I want, like, I have heard about, like, architectural digs and things that have covered up different, like, things that were going on that were crazy. But
sure, it just, and I'm not saying it's not a fact. I'm not saying it's not.
I know you're not.
I just want to know. It sounds like in that rant, like Moses is like, oh, and by the way, they eat all their kids too. Like, okay, maybe, but why don't I fact check it before you go ahead and post it? Okay, maybe I'll do that for you. Just don't put it on your Facebook, Moses.
What I thought was kind of funny was trying to figure out how to, like, say this. He brings up that particular spiritual practice of the people of the land. Eventually, at times, the Israelites are drawn into the spiritual practices of the people close to them. And this was not the particular issue that they were drawn in by. There was some, like, other... Well,
the orgies are a gateway drug.
So this is where...
Yeah.
Maybe if you had mentioned that one here... Because then it would have been like I almost feel like if you're listening to this, you go like, well, of course I'm not going to sting and do that. That sounds crazy. But then you get in there and they're like, oh, you know what we do for our
right. But
time.
Moses isn't going to say that, because then they're going to be like, oh, they do what?
Like, I would frame this as like, they do a thing that I think you're going to just stay away from it. Like, I know it's going to sound like you want to do it and you shouldn't do it. But instead he does the thing like, well, they're not going to start with that one. Like, that's not the one that they're like, oh, yeah, let me do the, like, yeah, let me throw all the babies into the fire. Like, that's not the part that I think they were like, I might do that. The other one they did like on a couple occasions, and they kind of fell for it. And even a couple chapters before this, when we talk about Balaam, like, this was the thing they fell for. That was the one. Moses didn't want to touch on it he brought up some other stuff. I also just liked the idea of the whole like vanquish first, ask questions later kind of thing. You know, like run them out of the town, burn their town down, destroy it all. But then they're like, I wonder what it was like here.
I love thinking about it in a modern context too, because they allude to it. You've got a kid, or you've got a group of people that are like, I wonder what it's like to worship another god. I wonder if that's fun. Like, could you imagine anyone in this era being like, ooh, I wonder, that would be so much fun to go worship something else? That doesn't have like a kid. Imagine a kid in church being like, oh, but it would be fun to worship a different god at a different church. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun with this god, but what if there's another god that I like more?
Right. Right.
I don't know that it's happening.
Yes.
But maybe that's all they had to do.
It's so funny because so much of it feels like foreshadowing. We're getting into it even more in this thing where you're like, that is eventually something that gets him off track. Yeah.
Deuteronomy 13.
Get into it.
Again, same kind of stuff. He's talking about like sort of false prophets and stuff. When a prophet or priest or prophet or visionary gets up in your community and gives out a miracle sign or wonder, and the miracle sign or wonder that he gave out happens, and he says, let's follow other gods. These are gods you know nothing about. Let's worship them. Don't pay any attention to what this prophet or visionary is going to say.
Yeah.
Like, then he says, you are to only follow God, your God, hold him in deep reverence, keep his commandments, listen obediently to what he says, serve him, hold on to him for dear life. But if there's one prophet who does God's tricks, but there's another prophet that does another God's tricks, how do we know, how can we like necessarily tell which is which? Like, is there like a secret password for like, when I do this on behalf of God, your God,
right?
Then like it's just a little code that here God is real. Otherwise, it's for another. If they don't know the secret password,
right,
then they're doing those tricks on behalf of another God, and don't go over there. You know, stay with this one.
Right, and I wonder. I had a very similar thought on this, and I wonder to what extent are we calling like a sign and wonder, like,
right?
How big are we talking? Right, like. Turn the whole Nile River into blood, like that was pretty significant. But if one of them's like, watch on my thumb, and you're like, whoa, look at that guy.
I'm gonna follow your God.
Where are you going, friend?
Well, it says in verse 5, and that prophet or visionary must be put to death. He has urged mutiny against God, your God, who rescued you from Egypt, and who redeemed you from the world of slavery and put you on the land of which God, your God, has commanded you to walk. Purge the evil from your company. And while you're at it, kill all the witches too. You gotta burn the witches.
Yeah, you can't have one of those turn sideways on you. We all saw what happened in the Marvel universe when Scarlet Witch got out of control.
I don't think we all saw it.
Directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. A lot of people remember. Verse 6, I liked along the same lines. It's just talking about people leading you astray. Verse 6, they mention if your own brother or your son or your daughter, and then this I thought was important, or the wife you love, or your closest friend secretly entices you. You got to remember, some of them had multiple wives at that point. So I thought it was actually really smart of Moses to be like, you got to watch out for is the wife you love.
The other ones
are just, you're probably not listening to them anyway. But the wife you love, be suspicious.
The concept that she's coming in and whispering, let's go and worship some other gods. That's like that's fun. Is that entertainment? Is that something exciting?
There's no TV. I think you're really overestimating how little TV they had.
Unless they're saying like, hey, at that God worshiping party, they've got wine in excess.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There were tools they were using for recruitment.
I'm just saying those things aren't mentioned. And so if all that's said is someone going, hey, let's go worship another God.
Right.
You're making too much of my like desire to go to church.
Right.
It's not that strong, just in general.
Well, and I think this is where you turn into like a sermon thing. They're not going to, like, Moses is coming at it from the sort of elder, get to the point kind of mentality of like, they're telling you to go after other gods. I think like, yeah, the reality is like, they're saying like, let's let's go to that, what there's a locals party where there's wine everywhere and all this crazy stuff and people are doing weird and the nasty stuff. We should go over there and hang out. And they're like, there's a big phallic statue in the middle. Well, come on, we should go. That was what the invite, I think, was. I don't think they were like hard selling these rando gods. I think they were just like wanting to go do the stuff.
I don't know. Again, it's not spelled out here.
Don't know.
I only go with what's
maybe they were just really interested in
just
being
worshiping
like free agents, like NBA style. Like, I'm going to commit to this god for 1 year and then I'm going to reassess.
It is such a blast to worship her. She's the best.
Verse 15 got me. If you go to a town, talk about in a town. So they start with like a false prophet, like a false, like somebody who's like actively trying to kind of like be a spiritual presence in the community and lead people astray. Then they talk about like kind of interpersonally. That's what I mentioned, the wife that you love, that you got to be careful of. Then there's conversation later in the chapter about like a town. And if the town is like becoming a hotbed facilitating these type of things, think about in the town Footloose when they start dancing and how everything unravels from there. Verse 15 says, you must certainly put to the sword all who live in that town. You must destroy it completely, both its people and its livestock. And that's where I feel like,
come on.
I don't know that they were oftentimes they get killed by the bad thing that's going on. I don't know why we got to kill them in response.
They've seen, but you can't keep them alive. They've seen some things.
I think
that you can't. They're gonna tell the other goats about what they saw at the goat orgies. Then the other goats are gonna get jealous, and the goats are gonna want to go worship another god too. And then you've got tainted, corrupted goats.
Nothing worse than a tainted goat. Hear me out on this. I feel like there's less people on the earth at this time. And there's a lot of animals. And animals start to become a little bit like screen time in my house. I'm ready to get rid of it. I don't need much. Like, I'm ready for it to be gone on any given day. So you're going to go like, my kid's going to be like, oh, I made you toast. I'm like, it's a little burnt. So no screens today. And he's like, why does it seem fair? He's like, yeah, I kind of wanted to get rid of the screens anyway. I didn't need much of a reason. And I'm wondering if it's not a little bit of that, where you're like, we got a lot of animals.
We're just culling the herd.
There's so many animals. They're actually like a nuisance. We can't grow plants. They're drinking all the water. So, yeah, if you wake up in the morning, your shoe's not untied, probably kill an animal. If you go to a town, they don't seem to be doing the right thing, I'd kill all the animals. You sneeze twice back to back, but you don't do the third one, probably find an animal and kill it. We gotta start to balance the animal to people ratio. So we're often the animals left, right, and center.
Yeah. I get it.
That's my hear me out on this part of the Bible.
I get it.
Deuteronomy. All right, that's all I had for 13.
All right. Deuteronomy 14 starts with, you are children of God, your God, so don't mutilate your bodies or shave your heads in the funeral rites for the dead. You only are a people holy to God, your God. God who chose you out of all the people on earth as his cherished personal treasure. And what if I'm shaving my head for other reasons? Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's not for the dead guy.
No.
This is for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my own personal aesthetic.
Yeah.
Things are getting a little thinning up there.
No.
Just cut it all off.
No.
I just want to know that that's okay. It's not.
Yeah. No.
It's not for the dead guy. This goes on, again, we're don't eat any, talking about what you can eat. Okay, we've been through this before. I think we've even said some of these words before, but rules on what to eat, what's clean and what's unclean.
Yeah.
But verse 11 through 18 says, you may eat any ritually clean bird. These are the exceptions, so don't eat these. Eagle, vulture, black vulture, kite, falcon, the buzzard family, the raisin family, the raven family. You can't eat raisins. Ostrich, nighthawk, the hawk family, little owl, great owl, white owl, pelican, osprey, cormorant, stork, the heron family, hoopoe, and bat. And if I feel like, guys, should I tell him? I'm sorry, bat's not a. Well, never mind. Just don't eat it. Don't eat a bat. Anyway, you don't eat a bat anyway. That's okay. Yeah, just don't eat the bird. Don't eat those birds. Bat's not a bird, though.
And here's where I'm gonna go. Here's where I'm going to go hard on my Old Testament Bible. Bat's a bird. Tell me how my life's better by naming it as a mammal.
I'm just saying,
It's a bird.
It sounds ignorant. If you're like, don't eat the bird.
What did it change? What did it change? Somebody actually...
And that's why I say, I don't know.
Bat's not a
Never
bird.
mind, just don't eat it. It can be a bird.
And if I'm going to go hard on a Deuteronomy in 2026, the next time someone's like, it's flying mammal actually is a bat. Bat's a bird. Get out of my face. Read Deuteronomy. And they're like, milk producing. Get out of my face. It flies around. It's a bird.
You sound like my wife with science.
Is it a flying bug? No. No, it's a bird.
It might as well be a bug.
What
then.
are we doing here?
No.
It's a bird.
No. They're very particular about all the things you can't eat and what they are and who has cloven, who chews cud. How do you know? I mean, unless you're watching them.
Details on the cud and the split.
What are you doing in your spare time, Cal? What about you, goat? You chewing cud? I want you.
There's no TV, Tim. They're either watching what cows eat or shopping for other gods. There's two options for entertainment.
I mean, they did have to farm and, slaughter animals and stuff to stay alive and build things with their bare hands that we don't have to do, but that's fine.
T-shirt idea. Bats or birds? Deuteronomy. I'm standing on this. Bats. We were the other day on vacation with my family, and there was all these, we thought they were all bats, and they were not. They were like some kind of like finch.
Yeah, little swallows.
Tiny, and then bats or birds. What? It didn't make anything better when we split these.
So
up.
what's a hummingbird? Is that just like a beetle?
A bird.
Is it though? Because they hover in one spot.
Is it a bug?
Basically, that's what you're saying. Is like by
a bird.
size. There's some classifications that you have.
What is the biggest flying bug?
Hummingbird.
I'll tell you this.
A hummingbird.
I'll tell you how hot this takes.
A butterfly is the biggest flying bug.
Somebody says a dragonfly's a bird. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
All right, then we need to let
hummingbird.
Hummingbird needs to be able to transfer to the bug category, and dragonfly can also go to the bird category.
I'll allow it.
There it is.
Two things fly.
Science with Anthony.
Bugs and birds.
When we said you won't.
The scary part is my kids are homeschooled. That's what should be horrifying to everybody right now.
When we said that you wouldn't learn anything on this podcast, we were wrong.
Bats or birds.
You just learned the wrong things.
Comment on this podcast, bats or birds, if you stand with me. Deuteronomy 14, we're still in, right?
It seems like it.
Here's my thing in verse 21. Do not eat anything you find already dead. Did I skip something important, by the way?
No, you're good.
Don't eat anything you find already dead. You can give it to the foreigner residing in your town, and they can eat it, or you can sell it to a foreigner, but you are a people holy to the Lord your God. And then it says this: do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. Mm-hmm. And here's what I love about that is like there are things in life they just don't seem right. Not really good reason. It just doesn't seem right. Everything involved in that situation is already done. Something's dead. Something's already given milk. Nothing's active, but it doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
So this is, to me, there are times when I've done things on behalf of inanimate objects where I'm just like, you get like I do what's happening to my kids right now. Is that I'm walking out, a stuffed animal shoved under the bed. And I'm like,
gotcha.
It doesn't need to be down there. It should be. That's unfortunate. It's not comfortable. Mm-hmm. They put it up on the bed.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. The kid doesn't sleep it. But I'm like, you know what? I go back to this passage. I'm like, some things, it just isn't right.
Yeah.
It just isn't right. A cute little stuffed animal shouldn't be smashed down under the bed, facing it. No, it needs to be on the bed. That's where it should be. And I'm going to refer to this Bible reference and be like, it just isn't right. It just isn't. Use another goat's milk.
Yeah. Is there a scientific reason behind it? I don't know. I'm going to say no.
Probably not. Milk's milk. I don't think it matters, but it's not right, and it shouldn't be done. So every time you do this, and I know some people will know what I'm talking about, and you have these like we have an inanimate like little mouse that it has like a little leaf that it's traveling on, and it needs to have coins in there. It needs to have something in there so that the mouse has purpose. And I'm going to refer to this verse and go like, it should. If I'm going to bring this mouse into my house and put it on the counter, it needs to be fulfilling its purpose.
I'd like to think there's like a metaphor for something too, but it's in the food chapter. So it's not. No,
I think it's just saying that it shouldn't be done.
Later on, verse 22 through 26-ish, they're talking about making an offering. Make an offering of 10%, a tithe of all the produce that grows in your fields. Bring this to God. In this way, you'll learn to live in deep reverence before God. Bring the oil and the firstborn from your herds, all these things. But if the place your God designates for worship is too far away and you can't carry your tithe that far, God, your God will bless you. Exchange your tithe for money and take the money to the place. Just cash is king.
Cash works.
Always rules. Yeah. So if you can't carry all your goats and your cows, just bring the coin.
Right.
Make the check payable to God, your God.
I did sort of wonder on this because the implication was like, hey, when you get there, you can do an exchange or whatever. You buy an animal, etc. But I wondered, like, man, we were pretty specific on a lot of the firstborn stuff. And if I'm like, firstborn, it's too much to carry. Just buy a whatever born when we get there.
Remember, a lot of this is all going to the Levites too. So I think they're okay with the cash.
Don't forget them. Can't forget them.
Never would.
That's it for me in 14. I'm ready for 15 when you
Let's do it. Deuteronomy 15. What do we got, Ant?
I'm starting right at the top. At the end of every 7 years, you must cancel debts. It's a pretty cool chapter, actually. This is about referred to as here's your biblical word that is real, that you can have. The year of Jubilee. That was the year when all the debts were canceled from Israelites to Israelites. At the end of every 7 years is when you do that. And I just, my initial read, I thought that makes a lot of sense because that's when the taste buds change. Good time to refresh, take on new freedoms because your taste buds are different. But yeah, that's what this chapter was all about. I had another, my next observation was down at 19. If you had something between there.
No, just this like long note about being generous in verse 7 through 9. Like when you happen on somebody who's in trouble or needs help among you, among your people with whom you live in the land that God, your God is giving you, don't look the other way, pretending you don't see him. Don't keep a tight grip on your purse. No, look at him. Open your purse. Lend whatever you want. Like this. I won't go on to, but it's give freely and spontaneously. Don't have a stingy heart. And again, we talked about this before. There are things that people are really adamant about in these Old Testament books, and we have to live our lives by this because God said to sacrifice animals if this happens.
That's a bird.
Because a bat's a bird, and it's an abomination if you don't think it is. And then we don't pay attention to some of this stuff that also, Jesus might have said later on. Like, be generous, like, be cool, help the poor people in your community. That's a thing.
Yeah, there's so much when you actually, it is actually very cool to go through. I loved this project, and I always have from the beginning. This chapter is actually very cool, and I've said from the beginning, the Bible is funny. It's not always funny. Some of it is good and interesting and cool. And this is one of those chapters for me. I didn't have like a ton of hilarious stuff in there, but it's just cool that there's a built-in rhythm to this system in these laws that a lot of them are contextual and they don't make a lot of sense now and they have to do with things they were dealing with back then. I totally get that. But this one is like, I think pretty transferable. And you're like, that's cool that there was like keeping your fellow man kind of like shackled in debt and like as you lording over them is not the most godly thing that you can do. Like, that's not really a great thing.
Yeah. To me, the funny part is how we are now and how some people are now. Right. And we're very quick to jump on certain verses because they make us feel a certain way. They reinforce a position that we've always felt. Mm-hmm. And we'll still ignore some folks who claim this faith. We'll just blatantly ignore, like, this is like 4 verses in a row that just spell out how to be generous and what you need to do. And it's in no uncertain terms. There's no misunderstanding about this, like how you should treat people. And the other ones are like, well, I'm going to take this one out of context and I think it means this and it don't lay with that thing. And then if you twist that into it, then it gives me my life verse. Right. And you're like, that one, not the like several in a row about being generous and taking care of the poor that are around you.
He even says,
that's like, funny.
Moses notes in here, like, don't ever catch yourself being upset because the year of Jubilee is coming next year.
Right.
And I'm like, gosh, this really is good. Like, it's just like hey, like, remember, like, it will And again, this is the part that kind of breaks our brains. It's really bad financially for said person because they have workers. They have like, they were owed a debt and this person is working for them to fulfill that debt and they have to release them of that debt. It doesn't make financial sense. It's going to hurt them. But it's a reminder that like, actually, that's not the most important thing. And it is good. It is extensive. There is a bit in there that made me laugh. In verse 19, it says, "Set apart for the Lord your God every firstborn male of your herds and flocks." It also goes into the tithe a little bit in this chapter. "Do not put the firstborn of your cows to work, and do not shear the firstborn of your sheep." And I thought, to some extent, you certainly understand the premise of this, but then I wonder, practically, like, what is the cow doing? Is the cow like not allowed to work? What if all the other cows are working and you're the only cow in the field because you're like, well, I can't work.
I'm the first
kind of a nepo baby cow, and now I'm not allowed to work. And then if you're the sheep, more of a problem because they feel like you need to be shorn. At some point
you want the haircut. In the desert, there's a point where you're like, but can you? You don't have to use the fur for anything. You don't have to it doesn't have to seem like work. But I'm hot under here.
Could a foreigner do it? I just am so hot. Could somebody just? And then maybe, like you said, you're the cow, and you're like, I could do a little something. I don't have to.
Oh, I wonder if that means like firstborn out of a litter, or like firstborn overall. Like if you got a sheep that has like, well, I guess they only have like one at a time. But if you had like a
that is a good question.
Maybe I'm just imagining a bunch of little puppy sheep coming out of a mommy sheep. I don't think that's how it works. But maybe they have twins. They can have twins. So is it the firstborn of that go round, or is it the firstborn ever?
I believe it is a mother's firstborn.
Okay.
That's the.
Okay, but what if it's an animal that has litters?
Right, but it was the firstborn.
The firstborn of the first litter.
I think, but there's going to be people that actually know that. That's a legit interesting question.
I don't actually care for the answer.
I do. So comment bats or birds.
Deuteronomy 16. I didn't have a ton in here. We're talking about Passover and observations and things.
Yeah.
Eat unraised bread for 6 days. Set aside every seventh day as a holiday. Like what to do during feasts. The Feast of Booths. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, the
Feast of Booths. There's not a ton. I thought at the very end, I don't know if you had anything you want to discuss from this chapter.
I just said something in 17. Scene, I imagine.
Yeah, we got.
So this is what is written as it is written. Each of you must bring a gift in proportion to the way the Lord your God has blessed you. And I don't know why immediately the scene in my head was just like, you're going to have some people that read that and they're like, yeah, it's 10%. So I did my calculations and I did the crops and I did the animals and I did I have it all here and here it is. And then
like a quantitative amount of
quantitative things, like based on how I was blessed, the way that we have a system here, there's rules, like this is a society. So yeah, this is how I was blessed. And then he shows up and the guy next to him has just like oodles and noodles and he's like, I don't know, man, I just feel like God just really, I love my wife, I love my kids. I'm just # blessed. So I brought the whole minivan. I filled it. I'm so blessed.
Yeah, and then the first guy feels like a tool. I thought, dang, I'm sorry, I love my wife and kids. No. I thought we were talking about the things we could carry here.
I thought it was.
I didn't think it was a.
I also love my wife.
You did make it clear that it was a general bountiful blessings.
That's why this cloak, part of my gift.
I brought this, and my hair, the locks of.
I've never shorn this sheep, and I figured today's the day, because I'm so blessed. Yeah, I just thought if we left it a little gray, somebody's gonna come in real hot and make everybody else feel lame.
At the end of this chapter verse 21 and 22, it says, "Don't plant fertility Asherah trees alongside the altar of God, your God, that you build. Don't set up phallic sex pillars. God, your God, hates them." And I actually think it could be an aesthetic thing, because I look these up, and a lot of them kind of look up. Well, right, because I do things.
Yeah.
No, but they're pretty ugly. A lot of at least in my opinion, again, it's like they'll carve a tree and they say phallic in here, but I didn't see any that looked like a phallus. I saw
no matter how hard you looked.
No, well, you can always find it. But they're like ugly. It's almost like when like it's like a half a stump of a tree and then they carve it into put a face on it or something. It's super. Some are creepy, but some are just weird and ugly. It's like when you drive by and you see the people who have like nailed eyeballs and a nose on an oak tree, and it just looks tacky. No offense, but it is. So I wonder if God's like, don't decorate the whole world in those stupid oak trees with the faces on them.
Yeah.
It says God hates them. It didn't say anything.
I know. I love that take actually, because it's interesting when we went through the temple and that you have like very specified like dimensions and things like that. But then you also have like, hey, I want like an almond, blossom kind of like thing. Like it's like God has an aesthetic. Yeah. And I think it's like obviously the
it's
answer
a little
here is like
gaudy.
It's you got him. Dang.
Got him.
That was really good, actually.
Thanks.
But you look at like nature and like it's all like really beautiful and really precise. And I do think to some extent, I think God has taste.
Yeah, God's like, don't mess. I made this.
And God is like, when the heart is right and things, it's cute.
Yeah.
But like also if the heart is wrong and the intention is wrong and it's ugly, like now I'm super ticked.
Yeah. Like we're building a house and my daughter's like, oh, could I paint my room this color? I'm like, God, no, I got it. We got to figure it out. Thanks. The way I built it is
if
how
you do it on a piece of paper and give it to me. It's cute.
That's so cute. I love that's
cute.
all. That's so sweet.
Like
done in real life.
And not in
no, your taste is terrible. Deuteronomy 17 starts off with, and don't sacrifice to God your God an ox or sheep that is defective or has anything at all wrong with it. That is an abomination and insult to God your God.
I love this premise. We've talked about it before. Just of like how uniform were defects and flaws. You know what I'm saying? Because like biologically, sometimes things appear to be defects or flaws that are actually like they're helpful to the survival of a creature.
Right.
And something might appear to be, at one point in human history, there was like some inbreeding stuff going on, and it's like you thought that made it better and actually made it way worse.
But in this case, what are we calling defective? Like if my goat has like a 9th nipple,
right,
it actually could be beneficial
That's
for the other baby goats to be able to have another.
So
another
I'm wondering
teat.
what conversations were had where they're like, I don't know, this one's got some spots, and you're like, I know, because there's like what I'm getting is biodiversity. This is actually a much stronger sheep. The problem is the other sheep that don't have the spots.
It's not normal, but it's not defective either.
Right.
My pig can stand on 2 feet.
Right.
And walk around. Is it normal? No. But is it beneficial because he can eat other food? Yeah.
I think of Jimothy the raccoon.
Right.
With the tiny spine. He's perfect to me.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that raccoon.
Perfect to me. And other people might say there's a flaw there, and I don't see it. For me personally.
Mm-hmm. We go into like, what do you do about like covenants and bowing? Like if you find anyone within the towns that's doing anything wrong in God's eyes, breaking his covenant by going off to worship, look at the evidence and investigate carefully. If you find it's true that an abomination has been committed, then you're to take the man or woman who did this thing outside your city gates and stone the man or woman, hurl stones at the person until they're dead. But it goes on to say, but only the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses may a person be put to death.
Yeah.
No one may be put to death on the testimony of 1 witness.
Right.
The witnesses must throw the first stones at the execution. Then the rest of the community joins in. It sounds like fun. You have to purge the evil from your community. Like, yeah, what a better way to convince people that God has cared for them than by telling them that God has forcibly said that you need to stone them if they don't behave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a convincing argument. That makes me fall in love with somebody.
I feel like I have questions on like how committed do you such a bleak question. We take this person outside of town.
Uh-huh.
They head for the wilderness. Right?
Uh-huh.
We have to chase them?
I mean, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how committed? Like, okay, you did something wrong. We busted. I got the witnesses. We hit your trip. Maybe you confess to it. We take you outside of town, and you just like gone. And now I got a big rock that I have to carry.
Maybe that's your hope. I thought you were going to ask what's your commitment level as the first thrower. Like, how accurate do I really want to be?
I just wonder if the choice is like, I don't see a contingency plan here for a person who takes off and runs. The whole wilderness is your other option.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you can't live here anymore.
Maybe
that stinks.
Maybe that's part of it.
I legit wonder. I'm like, I wonder if some of this is like, yeah, or they just take off and run.
Yeah, like pack your bags, Frank. We're all gonna stone you out there. Make sure you get all your t-shirts and stuff and like a toothbrush, because you're gonna walk 20 paces ahead of us, and there's gonna be a point where we all close our eyes and pray, and whatever happens, happens.
And we have our cloaks, which don't allow for like a full run. Like our gait is shortened because we have like our cloaks on. Like we're not gonna be able to run.
Slits up the side. At the same time, it says like if you're gonna accuse somebody, then you're the one who has to throw the first stone. So you better like really mean it.
That comes back later. What? Different story.
Spoiler alert.
I know. A little foreshadowing.
All right. Yeah, moving on to the end.
Wait, are you in 18?
No, I'm in 17. Verse 18 to 20. This is what must be done when he. Just to go back. He must not send people to Egypt to get more horses. God has told you. You're talking about a king. Choose your king from among your kinsmen. Yeah. Don't take a foreigner, only a kinsman. Make sure he doesn't build up a war machine, assessing military horses and chariots. He must not send people to Egypt to get more horses because God told you you're never to go back there again.
Yeah.
And this is what must be done. When he sits down on the throne of his kingdom, the first thing he must do is make himself a copy of the revelation on a scroll. So like all of this stuff. Copied under the supervision of the Levitical priests. Okay? Don't get it wrong. Priests are here to make sure that you know your stuff.
Yeah.
That scroll is to remain at his side at all times. He is to study it every day. And this is the king we're talking about. This is like the ruler that they're going to have.
Yeah.
He's to study it every day so that he may learn what it means to fear his God, living in reverent obedience before these rules and regulations by following them. He must not become proud and arrogant, changing the commands at whim to suit himself or making up his own versions. And I'm not saying that happens nowadays. I would never say that happens or is happening at all in any way, shape, or form. That people might change someone in charge might change the rules to benefit themselves. I would never say that.
That would be crazy.
That would be a crazy thing to say. It is biblical to not do that, though. So
that'd be a huge bummer if that happened.
Yeah, if you want to enforce anything about the Old Testament, don't forget to pay attention to that too.
Bats or birds.
Deuteronomy 18. What do we got? More about the priest, the Levitical priest, the tribe of Levi.
I think the people are going to like this section of Deuteronomy 18. I know I did. There's a lot. Again, we're getting into policies here, and a lot of this is discernment oriented. Like, how can you tell if somebody's kind of trying to lead you astray or whatever, and what to do if someone's trying to lead you astray. So, say there's like a false prophet that shows up and is doing this and is trying to make you go a direction you're not trying to go. I jumped in at 21. If you had something pressing before that,
excuse me. Go ahead.
So 21 says, a lot of this, like I said, some of these things contextual. You're like, we're not living in tents and raising sheep. How much can this make sense to us? Deuteronomy 18:21 is for you, if that's any of your thoughts. You may say to yourselves, how can we know when a message has not been spoken by the Lord? If what a prophet proclaims in the name of the Lord does not take place or come true, that is a message the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken presumptuously, so do not be alarmed. Such a good... That rule makes total sense to me.
It does, but I want to know if there's a time limit on that. Like, you say it's going to come true. How much time do we have? Because if there is, let's say there's like a 5-year time limit on the prophecy you're making.
Yeah.
And then we go, that guy, they didn't know what he's talking about. Then I would say a lot of the things that were foretold to me in my childhood growing up in church, those things didn't happen in the time frame that I was told things were going to happen. And so this falls in that category to me. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could be wrong. But maybe also they were wrong. There's a chance. So I didn't know, again, if there's a limit, if we could have if person says this is going to happen, you can't leave it open-ended. You got to kind of give me a date.
Give the time.
Give me a date.
And then, but I just like this. Like this whole section is kind of, to me, saying like, this is a person who's not trying to like get you to go some wild direction. They're just saying like, I feel this is a message from the Lord I'm sharing. And it doesn't happen. And
Yeah.
that's what I don't know. It's a funny little kind of caveat thing. And like you said, sometimes you're in a church environment and you get this, and maybe you're one of these people. And sometimes people will have like very meaningful moments where somebody like spoke something into their life and it was like, oh my gosh, that's just what I needed to hear. And I made all these changes and it was great. But then there's sometimes people are like, I feel like God's got a big plan for you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like...
And then they make the Left Behind series, and you're like, I don't think that's how it works out. No offense.
So I think if you're going to say it, you need to say it with a time frame. This is this is my takeaway. So if you're going to approach that person in church, be like, I feel like and maybe it's a little conversation you have with God. I'm going to go share the message you said, but I need to give him the time frame. I can't just say this is open-ended because then I feel like, you know what it is a bit like? Another like churchy thing. It's like when somebody asks you for advice and they're like, I'm in this relationship and this person's really mean to me and they're not really listening to me and they don't really seem to be interested in me. What do you think I should do? And you're like, I think you should probably break up with them. But I don't know, pray about it. And you give the little like... I told you to pray about it. So if that was like your one that got away, remember, I didn't tell you to break up with him. The key thing I said was to pray about it. And then I said what I kind of said. And then I told you to pray about it. So you can't blame me. That's what it feels like when you don't give a time frame. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Deuteronomy 19. Anyway, still all the same stuff.
I love 19.
It's good. Verse 4-7, this is the guideline for the murderer who flees there to take refuge. So we've created these cities, they show up. We're making 3 easily accessible cities in the land, so that they can be divided into thirds. One of the towns is a place for people to go who have accidentally killed people. They need a place to go live because obviously you couldn't live with the normals. This is the guideline for the murderer who flees there to take refuge.
Yeah.
He has to have killed his neighbor without premeditation and with no history of bad blood between them. Seems fair. Like they didn't have any beef.
Right.
So why would he want to kill him? Seems clear. For instance, a man goes with his neighbor. Just for instance. Let's just say it's for instance. A man goes with his neighbor.
Yeah.
Into the woods to cut a tree. Okay, it's a common thing. He swings the axe. Okay. The head slips off the handle and it hits the neighbor, killing him.
So these two have never spoken before. They have no history. They have no animosity. Maybe we've spoken before, but there's not
No beef, but man, my axe head is loose. How often was this? This is very specific.
This is such a specific example.
Is this happening a lot?
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know this. Again, we hate to teach you things here on the podcast, but sometimes it happens. Still to this day, when someone has accidentally killed someone, we call that person an axe murderer. And that comes from this text.
I don't
think the
think
term axe murderer.
I don't think that's what
it's when you go out in the woods and you make a oopsie and somebody ends up dead.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's real.
All right.
That there is definitely a backstory here that I'm not even sure Bible historians have gotten to the bottom of, but this is too specific.
Yeah. It goes on to say he may then flee to one of those cities. So this guy who accidentally flung an axe backward.
Accidentally.
Got it.
I see what you did.
You got him. If the city is too far, he may then flee to one of these cities to save his life. If the city is too far away, the avenger of blood racing in hot-blooded pursuit might catch him since it's such a long distance and kill him even though he didn't deserve it. Right. It wasn't his fault. There was no history of hatred between them. The axe head flew off on its own.
Yeah.
It grew, a bat picked it up, flapped its wings and carried it right into his skull. Therefore, I command you, set aside the 3 cities for yourselves.
Yeah.
We're so worried about this kind of retaliation. Like, that somebody is going to chase you down the road because you accidentally killed their friend or their husband or whatever, that we're going to build extra cities as like safe havens for them to escape to so they can have a base that they can touch.
Right.
That seems more practical than, like practicing patience or building listening skills or trying to understand maybe someone's perspective of the story and what happened. Let's build a city instead.
Right.
That seems more practical, right?
Well, I mean, to me it does, yeah. Yeah, it takes a long time to get people to like actually be patient and wait till they have all the facts.
Oh, axe. You're doing an axe joke with the facts. Well, that's good. We should do it again.
Yeah, makes more sense that like you have like an arbitrary city. The base is fascinating to me. It's like, how close were some of these races, right? Like, did you like dive and you got into the city limits? They had to pull their chariot over. They're like, I can't kill him now because it's legal.
And because the person chasing them would have known that too. Like,
they can't go past that line.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they know they're fleeing to that location to be ollie oxen free.
Right.
But they're allowed to just try to, if they do catch them and kill them along the way before they make it to that city, then they're okay to kill them. We're good, right?
Well,
There's no retaliation for them because they were killing.
Because this is the eye for an eye.
Right.
Right.
But again, they already know though. They already know at that point that it was an accident. But if they can catch them in time before they make it to base, then they can kill them and it's totally cool.
Oh, no. I don't think that's right.
It is right. That's what I'm saying.
He says then they may kill him. He doesn't say like, then they'll kill him and we'll throw a party.
I mean, okay. But what I'm saying is I'm chasing you down.
You're chasing me.
Because your axe head flew off and killed my cattle. I am chasing you, and I know that if you can, I'm running after you.
You're running.
And
it's
if you, I know
Yeah.
because I'm in this community, if you make it through those city gates, that you're free, that I can't do anything to you. So I'm chasing you because I want to make sure you die. But I already know it in my head that it's like, you need to go live there. Like, that's your designated place to go live, that you didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
So why am I not in trouble for chasing you and trying to kill you? Why am I not being taught to just go, take a breath? Maybe don't chase everybody down after every axe handle flies off.
I think that is the rules are, as far as I understand them, as we've been reading them 6 chapters at a time for the last 5 years. You shouldn't be chasing them. I think this is a contingency plan that says the city has like their job is to split them up. Like they're like, here's the thing. There's a crazy accident. Again,
an accident.
This would be hilarious to just go on a whole run of like, what are the things like I was bullfighting and I didn't see that you were right there. That goes, I didn't do it on purpose. Like, and then the like ruralness of this it's all spread out and there's just different like families. Like it's not, again, we're not talking about metropolitan areas. Like these are like family, the dynamics, somebody is dead, emotions are high. If you commit manslaughter, you can get to this city, you can get some help and they'll like back everybody off and make sure you get your case. If they get to you before then, probably gonna kill you. And then we got to deal with that because I do think there's like rules in place of like, you can't just go around killing people when they did a thing. Now you could certainly question like who would be there to say it was an accident at that point. I don't know how much justice would be served in that way, but it is just an interesting, what do they call them? Like the sanctuary cities or whatever. Like this will always be fascinating to me. The stories that had to come out around this whole vibe, including what if you are being chased and you get to the city just before the other person and how much work had to be done there? Are there people at the city gates whose job is to like intervene with somebody like about to swing a sword and you got to go like, no, please. Like you have to like throw yourself over this other person to go like, it was an accident. He was trying to make a birdhouse. Is that a job that somebody had? Because that's tough.
And are those people just waiting outside the city? The I'm trying to kill you.
Yeah.
I think you got to come back out to get your stuff at some point. I'm just going to wait outside the gates.
And I'll tell you another crazy thing that I've thought about this is they are actually allowed in the city. They just can't kill them. So I wonder if there's any like go in the city and I'm gonna give them one of these. Huh?
I'm not touching you.
Yeah, live a whole life. I'm not touching you. I'm allowed to be here.
What if that's where they learn to kill them with kindness?
Wow.
Let's pray.
Could have been. Could have been. You go in the city, you got to kill them with kindness, which is the most painful thing.
It really is.
That's Deuteronomy 12 through 19.
We did it. We read the Bible,
Some
folks.
people call it the most important part of the Bible. Not here, Because we think all the parts of the Bible are important.
I mean, not the, like, some of the Leviticus stuff. No offense to whoever wrote it. I just don't want the writer to feel bad. Well, it was kind of a boring
Too
chapter.
late. Thank you for paying attention for Cheat Day Devos. You did it. You are now versed in Deuteronomy 12 through 19. And if you've been going from the beginning in our decade-long read through the Bible, a lot of people try to do a year. Not us.
No.
Give us 10.
We do have other stuff to do.
We got other stuff going on. Thanks for following along. If we missed anything you need to discuss further, let us know. Send us a message. I want to hear from you. You can comment on the podcast. You can message us at The Bible is Funny, and we'll talk to you there. And if there's nothing else, we'll see you in roughly 1 week, and we'll do this all again.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Talk to you then. Love you. Bye.
Love you, Mike.